Welcome to the CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Question Bank Series. In this video, I've got 15 exam-style practice questions lined up for you, covering the kind of general security concepts, threat and vulnerability, security architecture, security operations, and program management scenarios you'll see on the real SY0-701 exam. Each question comes with the correct answer and a full explanation, including why the wrong options are wrong. Here's how to get the most out of this. When a question appears, pause the video, pick your answer, then hit play to check yourself. Ready? Let's dive in. Question 16. A vulnerability scan flags a critical vulnerability on a server, but after investigation, the analyst confirms the vulnerability does not actually exist on that system. What is this result called? The correct answer is D, false positive. A false positive is a reported finding that is not actually present. Analysts validate and tune these out to reduce noise. Now, why the other options are wrong? False negative is incorrect. A false negative is a real vulnerability the scanner failed to report, the opposite of this situation. True positive is incorrect. A true positive is a finding that is correctly reported and genuinely present. Here, the finding was not real. Credentialed scan is incorrect. A credentialed scan is a scan type that authenticates to the target for deeper inspection. It is not a classification of a result. Question 17. During an active incident, responders isolate the affected systems from the network to stop the threat from spreading further. Which incident response phase does this action belong to? The correct answer is A, containment. Containment limits the scope and spread of an incident, for example, by isolating, quarantining, or segmenting affected systems. Now, why the other options are wrong. Preparation is incorrect. Preparation happens before an incident occurs, developing plans, tooling, and training. Detection and analysis is incorrect. Detection and analysis identifies and confirms that an incident is occurring. It does not itself stop the spread. Lessons learned is incorrect. Lessons learned is the post-incident phase that reviews the event to improve future response. Question 18. An analyst collecting evidence during a forensic investigation must ensure the evidence will be admissible in court. Which practice is most important for maintaining the integrity and traceability of that evidence? The correct answer is B, maintaining a chain of custody. A documented chain of custody records who handled the evidence, when, and how, preserving its integrity and supporting admissibility. Now, why the other options are wrong. Compressing the evidence files to save storage is incorrect. Compression has no bearing on legal admissibility and can complicate later verification of the data. Storing the evidence on the original production server is incorrect. Evidence should be preserved on secure, controlled media. Leaving it on a production system where it can change undermines its integrity. Sharing the evidence with all team members is incorrect. Broad, uncontrolled access increases the risk of tampering and breaks the controlled chain of custody. Question 19. A security operations center needs to aggregate logs from servers, firewalls, and endpoints, correlate them, and generate alerts on suspicious activity in near real time. Which tool is designed for this? The correct answer is C, Security Information and Event Management, SIEM. A SIEM aggregates and correlates log and event data from many sources and generates alerts on suspicious activity in near real time. Now, why the other options are wrong. Data loss prevention, DLP, is incorrect. DLP monitors and blocks the unauthorized movement of sensitive data. It is not a general-purpose log aggregation and correlation platform. Host-based IDS, HIDS, is incorrect. A HIDS monitors activity on a single host. It does not centrally aggregate and correlate logs from across the enterprise. Proxy server is incorrect. A proxy mediates and can log web traffic, but it does not correlate events from many sources to produce alerts. Question 20. A user wants to send an email so that only the intended recipient can read it. Using asymmetric public key cryptography, which key should the sender use to encrypt the message? The correct answer is D, the recipient's public key. Encrypting with the recipient's public key ensures that only the recipient, who holds the matching private key, can decrypt and read the message, providing confidentiality. Now, why the other options are wrong? The sender's private key is incorrect. Encrypting with the sender's private key provides authenticity. Anyone with the matching public key can decrypt it, but it does not keep the message confidential. The recipient's private key is incorrect. The sender does not have and should never have the recipient's private key. Private keys are never shared. A shared symmetric key included in the same email is incorrect. Placing a key in the clear in the same email would expose it, and this is symmetric, not asymmetric encryption. Question 21. To offset potential financial losses from a data breach, a company purchases cybersecurity insurance. Which risk management strategy does this represent? The correct answer is A, risk transference. Transferring or sharing risk shifts the financial impact to a third party, such as an insurer through a contract. Now, why the other options are wrong? Risk avoidance is incorrect. Avoidance eliminates the risk by not engaging in the activity at all. Buying insurance does not stop the activity. Risk acceptance is incorrect. Acceptance means taking no action and absorbing the potential loss. Purchasing insurance is an active treatment, not acceptance. Risk mitigation is incorrect. Mitigation reduces the likelihood or technical impact of a risk through controls. Insurance does not reduce the chance of a breach occurring. Question 22. In a data governance program, who is responsible for assigning a dataset's classification level and authorizing who may access it? The correct answer is B, data owner. The data owner is accountable for the data, including assigning its classification level and authorizing access to it. Now, why the other options are wrong? Data custodian is incorrect. The data custodian implements and maintains the controls that protect the data, storage, backup, technical safeguards, but does not decide its classification. Data processor is incorrect. The data processor handles data on behalf of the controller and does not determine classification. Data subject is incorrect. The data subject is the individual whom the personal data describes, not a governance role that classifies data. Question 23. An organization is formalizing the minimum service levels a vendor must meet, including guaranteed uptime and maximum response times. Which agreement documents these measurable commitments? The correct answer is C, Service Level Agreement, SLA. An SLA defines the measurable service commitments, such as uptime guarantees and response times, that the vendor must meet. Now, why the other options are wrong? Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, is incorrect. An MOU expresses a general intent to cooperate and is usually not a binding, detailed performance commitment. Non-disclosure agreement, NDA, is incorrect. An NDA protects confidential information shared between parties. It does not define service performance levels. Business Partners Agreement, BPA, is incorrect. A BPA establishes the terms of a business partnership, such as responsibilities and profit sharing, not specific service metrics. Question 24. Under many privacy regulations, such as the GDPR, which role determines the purposes and means of processing personal data and bears primary accountability for compliance? The correct answer is D, data controller. The data controller decides why and how personal data is processed and holds primary accountability for compliance under regulations such as the GDPR. Now, why the other options are wrong? Data processor is incorrect. The data processor acts on the controller's instructions and does not determine the purposes or means of processing. Data protection officer, DPO, is incorrect. The DPO advises on and monitors compliance, but the role does not determine processing purposes or carry the controller's primary accountability. Data custodian is incorrect. The custodian provides technical safekeeping of data and is not the party accountable for deciding why and how data is processed.
Question 25.
Which activity is the best example of a security awareness measure designed to test whether employees can recognize social engineering? The correct answer is A, conducting a simulated phishing campaign. Sending controlled, simulated phishing emails tests and reinforces employees' ability to recognize and report social engineering attempts. Now, why the other options are wrong? Installing endpoint antivirus on all laptops is incorrect. Antivirus is a technical control. It does not measure or build employee awareness. Requiring complex passwords is incorrect. A password complexity requirement is a technical and managerial control, not a test of employees' ability to spot social engineering. Enabling automatic screen locks is incorrect. Automatic screen locks are a device hardening control. They do not test phishing or social engineering recognition.
Question 26.
A security analyst needs to verify that a downloaded firmware file has not been altered in transit. Which technique best provides this assurance? The correct answer is B, hashing. Comparing a cryptographic hash of the downloaded file to the vendor's published hash confirms the file's integrity. Now, why the other options are wrong? Encryption is incorrect. Encryption provides confidentiality, keeping the file secret. It does not by itself prove the file was not altered. Compression is incorrect. Compression only reduces file size and provides no integrity assurance. Tokenization is incorrect. Tokenization substitutes sensitive data with tokens and is unrelated to verifying file integrity.
Question 27.
A company wants to ensure that the sender of a digitally signed email cannot later deny having sent it. Which security concept does a digital signature provide here? The correct answer is C, non-repudiation. A digital signature provides non-repudiation. The signer cannot credibly deny having sent the message. Now, why the other options are wrong? Confidentiality is incorrect. Confidentiality keeps the message content secret. It does not bind the sender to the message. Availability is incorrect. Availability ensures information is accessible when needed. It is unrelated to proving authorship. Anonymity is incorrect. Anonymity hides the sender's identity, which is the opposite of the goal.
Question 28.
After a user proves their identity at login, the system checks which files and applications that user is permitted to access. Which part of AAA does this check represent? The correct answer is D, authorization. Authorization determines what an authenticated user is permitted to access. Now, why the other options are wrong? Authentication is incorrect. Authentication verifies the user's identity, which was already completed at login. Accounting is incorrect. Accounting records user actions for auditing. It does not make access decisions. Identification is incorrect. Identification is the initial claim of identity and precedes authentication.
Question 29.
A change advisory board requires every approved change to include a documented way to return systems to their previous state if the change fails. What is this called? The correct answer is A, backout plan. A backout rollback plan restores systems to their prior working state if a change causes problems. Now, why the other options are wrong? Maintenance window is incorrect. A maintenance window is the scheduled time to perform the change, not the recovery procedure. Impact analysis is incorrect. Impact analysis assesses the potential effects of a change before approval, not the rollback step. Standard operating procedure is incorrect. An SOP is a routine documented process. It is not specifically a rollback for a failed change.
Question 30.
To defend stored password hashes against pre-computed rainbow table attacks, an administrator adds a unique random value to each password before hashing. What is this value called? The correct answer is B, salt. A salt is a unique random value added to each password before hashing, defeating pre-computed rainbow tables. Now, why the other options are wrong? Pepper is incorrect. A pepper is a single secret value stored separately from the database. The described per-user random value added before hashing is a salt. Nonce is incorrect. A nonce is a number used once in cryptographic protocols, not a value stored for password hashing. Initialization vector is incorrect. An IV randomizes block cipher encryption, not password hash storage. And that's a wrap on this video. Nice work getting through those 15 questions. If this helped, you're going to want the complete set. All 540 exam-style questions, with full explanations across all 5 SY0-701 domains, are available in my Udemy course, CompTIA Security Plus, SY0-701, 6 practice exams. The link is in the description below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video, where I'll walk you through 15 more questions. See you in the next video!